The type of students, honestly, any kind of student. It doesn't matter if you're in business, if you're in sciences, you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, you're in kinesiology. It's for anyone. You got to use business skills, and no matter what you go into, you got to talk to clientele. You have to manage people. You have to look at inventory as well too. There's so many different things that you do. So I'd say honestly, it's for anyone that wants to learn the other side of business and not just be an employee, but learn skills that you will never get to kind of see as an employee, but actually as a business owner.
Yeah. And just to add to that, I guess, like being in business, when I was in business school, you're learning just the theories kind of thing. You're learning the general aspect of business. But when I started doing student works, I realized how many different aspects there are. And also just when you're learning about marketing, when you're learning about, employee management through a textbook, and then when you're actually doing it, you get a whole different kind of
Yeah.
And so what I took away from it, I learned a lot more about some aspects of business when I did student works as opposed to in school. Because in school, again, it's all just theory based. And sure, you're going to learn about, major supply chain, that kind of stuff, but it's kind of harder to do the little, hands-on experience in school. And that's what I pulled from student works.
Yeah. And also a textbook won't ever teach you how to react to every kind of person out there.
Exactly.
So
Clients,
experience will be a big thing when you have different people that you have to interact with.
Yeah.
100%. I took business in school as well. Marketing was my major. And as much as I loved people, it still doesn't teach you how to talk to every type of person and deal with every type of situation. There's not a textbook of, if this happens, do this. So
Exactly.
I completely agree
So
with that.
yeah, my name's Katherine. I've been in student works for 8 years, actually. Were, thank you. I did 5 years franchising in Edmonton, Alberta, and then I moved to Calgary when I got promoted to a district manager position for another 3 years. So yeah, 8 years total.
Yeah. And I'm Darko. I did student works for 2 years. I did 1 year during my second year of university, and I took a year off, and then I came back to do it one more year. And that was in 2015.
Yeah. Nice. So it's been a while. And what has your guys' life looked like after student works?
Well, for both of us, we got married in 2018. That's kind of when I severed myself from the company in terms of course. And then we took some time off to actually travel around the world. So we traveled, backpacked for about a year. It was supposed to be a year and a half, but obviously because of COVID, we had to cut that short in March. So came back here, and at the moment I'm taking my real estate course. And you?
Yeah, well, for me, after student works, I kind of went right into the business side of healthcare, procurement for Alberta Health Services, and just kind of worked my way up through their different positions and kind of increased my roles. And then, then I resigned from that, and we went traveling for through South America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. And now we're back in Canada and back to work. I got back into Alberta Health Services.
Congrats on getting married again. How has student works actually shaped your life since you've left?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, student works definitely taught me a lot about being a manager, being a leader. And so during my time in Alberta Health Services, I've tried to incorporate some of the things I've learned in student works in my roles there. Just how to be a better teammate, how to be a better leader on my team. I haven't had any management positions in Alberta Health Services, but I feel like with my previous experience in student works, I'm set for one of those positions down the road. And also just, I guess, with the inventory aspect of student works, you are controlling your own inventory, and that helps me in supply chain in my further career. So, you want to go?
Yeah. So for me, obviously, I'm a little bit different. Darko graduated with a business degree in supply chain.
Right.
And then for me, I was in biological sciences. So definitely complete opposite of what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into forensics and be a medical coroner. But honestly, after student works, it's really opened my eyes to the fact that I do like being a business owner. Never thought I'd be able to be one, actually. So student works kind of gave me that confidence that I needed to learn how to run a business and to, be able to talk to people, be able to work with people properly, as well as kind of seeing the successful side of business and not just seeing other people be successful, but seeing my own success as well too. So that was really cool.
Awesome. And then you guys kind of already answered this, but what were some of the biggest things that you learned from your time with StudentWorks?
So yeah, like I said, talking to people, learning how to manage, like Darko was saying as well too. Managing your time is a huge thing. If you do want to be a business owner, you have to learn where your priorities are in your business as well in your life. So you have to be very self-regulated in that aspect. So that's very helpful for both of us, because eventually down the road, we do want to own our own businesses. Definitely. But at this moment, we're kind of in our stepping stone phase where we realize that business does take a lot of time, and to be successful, it isn't instant. So for me, I'll go into real estate for a while, gain some capital. And for you?
And for me, like I guess obviously the management aspects is a great part, but one thing that I took away from StudentWorks was problem and conflict resolution. And so like any part of life, you're going to have issues that come up, and how you deal with those is one big aspect of StudentWorks. And so that taught me in life and also in my career how to deal with people, how to not be too aggressive, but how to also be pushy when you need to be. Because in business, you do have to push your agenda. And that's one thing I took away from StudentWorks, how to be more assertive when needed. Especially with teammates, sometimes people do slack, and you can definitely pull up more pressure when you need. And that's what I learned from StudentWorks.
That's awesome. My last question is just, do you have any advice for the students that are operating their businesses this upcoming summer?
Well, especially with COVID, I think that this is a great opportunity. It's probably one of the best opportunities you can do at the moment, with how our economy is going, with the decline in a lot of employment across the country, I'd say. And I saw StudentWorks and how they worked through COVID when it started in March. And I was very surprised to see that StudentWorks did thrive. Like you guys had, I don't know if it was a record-breaking year, but it was a record-breaking year for you. It's awesome to see that even though the economy was going down a little bit, you guys thrived. Your students made money. You had a lot of work, which is awesome. And that's cool to see. And I think that anyone that's also interested in doing StudentWorks that hasn't quite signed on yet, or is on the fence about it, in this time, I do think it is a really good opportunity, and it's something that you should consider. Right. Consider a lot. Yeah.
My piece of advice, I guess, would be it does come in waves. So what I mean by that is when I was doing both years, I found that, maybe with sales or maybe with good and bad painters, good and bad clients, things do come in waves. Maybe you'll have a great week, one week where you get a lot of sales, and the next week it slows down and you're kind of really digging for those. Or maybe you have a great week with painters, production is great, everything's looking smooth, and the next week a couple problems stem up. And so the biggest thing is just always keep pushing, keep hustling, because it does do that kind of waves. And that's kind of like life is, you have the good and the bad, and you just have to make sure you keep pushing through the bad, because then you will always kind of reach your goals. And that's about it. And also make a lot of lists.
Oh, yes.
So lists
even to this day, we still make to-do lists every day.
Production lists, supply.
Then you get stuff done and you get everything accomplished.
Shows you how productive you are too, and you can keep track of it. So it's great.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for the advice. I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate it, and thanks for chatting.
Thank you so much, Ashley.